Now, if you're like me, you've been following this stock for a long time now. And if you're also like me, you've seen a lot of FUD around the media, around YouTube channels, around people talking about the stock that have no earthly idea what they're talking about because, they're all in it for the views. That's the way YouTube works. It's, I'm going to trade my, content for your time. And the question is, what are you getting back in return for that time? That has been something that I always recommend anybody using YouTube asks themselves when they're viewing a video. What am I getting back in return for giving this person behind the screen, behind the content, my valuable time that is, in my opinion, your most valuable asset that you should not give up very lightly. But, anyways, I try not to waste that valuable time. So without further ado, I'm going to show you why not only you don't need me to make you AMC videos, and I think most of the followers here know that by now, that the reason why, and they also know I'm busy as shit right now dealing with a lot of personal stuff, but if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't even really then be talking much about AMC because there's not much to talk about. And I'm just going to remind everybody that I am still bullish as shit on the stock. There's no reason not to be. And until something drastically changed, which, you'd be the first to know, I don't see any reason to change the outlook because the outlook hasn't changed. And what I'm going to show you is just from a purely common sense perspective. Not a hype perspective, it's just pure common sense. I'm not here to tell you that there's 50 billion shares shorted, that there's 3 trillion naked shorts out there, that there's a quadrillion, whatever. That's not, it doesn't matter. What I'm here to show you is that you don't need me to make you AMC videos or anybody else every day, and because it's, in my opinion, it's just a matter of time, and we're going to see why. And also, I am going to go over the recent events surrounding the share offering that everyone freaks out about, that's stirred up in the media, spun in the media to try to get people shaken out. We're just going to go over it briefly, real quick, again, why you know that it's a matter of time. The outlook is good. So first of all, quarterly looks great. I mean, I've been following this for a while. The metrics are there, but it's a chart, right? It doesn't really tell us much other than open, high, low, close volume data over the period of time, which is reorganized in different indicators such as the MACD and RSI. It can help us, to some extent, but I just think the symmetry is there, and it's interesting that if you look at the first time it crossed in its history, it's when we had the big bump here, and then now we're trading even lower with a slightly raised MACD, and it's almost the same thing. So just pointing that out. Now, the projected industry growth for this, for the movie theater industry is there. I mean, the growth is there. COVID-19 is out of the way. God forbid another mass pandemic doesn't occur. There's not really much getting in the way of this growth, and to my knowledge, that I know of at this time, that would be relevant right now. So, this is provided by Gemini Insights. They're a relevant market provider, very accredited, the BBB accredited, DMCA protected, all that good shit. Certified ISO company. You can check them out if you want, but it's not just a random chart. This is actual industry growth projections for movie theater by market size. And then obviously you could, if you want to pause this and break it down further, you got the way you would read this is each shade of color represents a different size, and then you see the projected growth by going out in time. It's there. It's clear. So that's one good thing that you can cling to. Now, why I made FUD stop is because I hate FUD. It's all over the media. It's all over the YouTube. It's all over everywhere. Everyone's basically recycling bullshit to each other, and it's not doing anybody any good. So I try to, nick that in the bud whenever I can. I used to do it on YouTube quite a bit. I stopped doing it because of death threats from crazy motherfuckers on Reddit. But, good times. But if you think about the most recent FUD in the media, and this is what everyone likes to freak out about, it's the share offerings. Yes, I get it. Dilution. Dilution is dilution, but that is it's a buzzword, right? Because if you have to think about it from a company perspective, like, you got to look and see the reality of the situation. The reality of the situation is this. What's also something that's pushed around in the media a lot that's used to deter investors from buying AMC? It's the fact they have debt. Well, in a high interest rate environment that we're currently sitting in with the way things have been going in the economy with inflation, it's not really an ideal time to pay off debt. But that set aside, if you look at AMC's debt situation, they've been, addressing the situation. They have future plans to address it. This was a perfectly executed move that we as investors would want to see the company make as far as raising capital for a minimum dilution effect on the shareholder, with still providing those long-term growth opportunities. So essentially, raising capital by selling shares during a market run can be a strategic move for a company looking to pay off debt. We know AMC wants to pay off debt. When the market is bullish, in respects to AMC itself, which, as we know, up until recently, on December 6th, it was bullish, then we had the drop-off. But when it's bullish, the company's share price is often higher, allowing it to raise significant funds without issuing as many shares, thereby minimizing dilution of existing shareholder equity. So we have a company here that we're all bullish on. We know it's in debt, but then at the same time, the second it raises capital to help pay off that debt, we can't just say, oh, fuck, they're fucking us. It's like, they're diluting us. No, to some extent, but the purpose is not to fuck us. The purpose is to pay off the debt faster, provide quicker returns for the shareholders, and all this shit that it says here, influx of capital can be used to reduce high-interest debt, which is exactly what they're going to do with it, improve the company's financial health by lowering interest expenses, and enhancing cash flow. Additionally, paying off debt can strengthen the company's balance sheet, increase investor confidence, and position it for future growth opportunities. It's exactly what we want to do. And the way you can assess this move is by looking at the chart itself. So this is the way the news media spins it. It's always negative for the most part. Not all of them, but most of them spin it negatively. And then it's taken up by YouTubers, and it's spun around this and that, and everyone gets confused. But in reality, if you look at what they did, and you look at the chart, and you look at the run, and when they decided to issue the shares, that was perfectly executed. It was at the highest point of the run, and then it trails off. Gives the stock time to consolidate right there at the RSI, about to be overbought. It provides another level of support. Boom, and go back up. We're basically where we were at the start of this most previous run. So again, nothing has changed. That was a brilliant move by the company, because it's not like they sold shares here, way back here when we were at the bottom. They waited till the top, and they were like, hey, look, we can sell shares. That's exactly what they did. And that's exactly what the company needed. That's exactly what the shareholders needed in totality for, future growth, which is what is in the books based on the industry trends. So again, this is just all common sense. You don't need the hype. It's not really relevant, because, it doesn't matter if there's 50 million naked shorts. If there really is 50 million naked shorts, we're not going to ever see that shit covered, because if that makes no sense. Like 50 quadrillion, whatever the number is going around, none of that matters. It's all just to get your precious time that I've probably wasted too much of at this point. But hopefully you get my point by now, and hopefully you found some value in this video. Because if you did, please unlike and unsubscribe. I'm just kidding. But yeah, but it is what it is. You just got to look at people's motives, and that's exactly what I'm trying to say. You got to look at the YouTubers' motives that are selling you the videos that you're watching, and then you got to look at the CEO, Adam Aaron, however you may feel about him. Because you got to understand, what you may think or feel about him comes from the media or people on social media. And that's not really a reliable source, in my opinion. You got to look at what they're doing from the company's perspective. And in my opinion, this latest decision was brilliantly executed at the perfect time, right before the rate cuts came, and I think it was a good move. And I don't think it's anything to be concerned about, or anything that redirects the future trajectory of where I expect AMC to go. The only problem is you just don't know when, but that's the point of investing. You invest because you are not, it's not about where the price is now and like when you need the money. It's about the company and what it's doing and what it's working towards to be able to meet those future expectations, which in my opinion, good job. This was a good move. I don't usually compliment, I don't think I've ever complimented a decision by the AMC board, but this one was a brilliant move. So hats off to the AMC team on this one. Brilliantly executed. So nothing's changed, folks, and you didn't need me to tell you that, but some of you out there may have not known this, or may have hopefully gotten some value here. So y'all have a good one.